I've always thought that camcorders are pretty cool, from older ones that I used when I was a kid to more modern current ones. I just think they're neat. They usually offer a lot of functionality in pretty compact packages, and because of that, sometimes that leads to some pretty innovative and shocking features. And sometimes those features are incredibly useful, like top handle mounting controls or built-in video lights, and other times you sort of end up with more confusing iterations and implementations of features. But one feature of the camcorder that I'm using right now, which is a pretty budget-friendly camcorder from 2013, is the fact that you can see me on a projected image from the camcorder itself. This is a Sony Handycam with a built-in projector, so you can watch me right there. In fact, you can watch me watching me on the screen right there. This is the Sony PJ230. And that PJ doesn't mean that you just hang out in your pajamas. Well, it could, because while you're watching the videos back, you could be in your pajamas watching your home movies be projected on a wall or a screen in front of you. This is a camcorder with a built-in projector. I actually remember when this camcorder came out in 2013. I thought it was pretty cool. I actually even remember playing with the display models at Best Buy. You can kind of see the projector, and it seemed pretty neat. And a while back I was thinking, wasn't there that camera that had a projector in it? So I went off to eBay, I found one. But what's really cool is it was about 140 bucks on eBay, not too bad, shipping included. But when it got here, it's brand new. It has not been used. So I've actually been waiting a long time to make this video because I want to check everything out about this camera. I hope that it works. I actually don't even know 100% for sure that this works. And then if it does work, like, does it actually work? Does the feature actually do the thing that it says it's supposed to do? So as I mentioned, this is from 2013 and its original MSRP was $399. So what's very interesting with that is this key feature, right? This marquee feature of having a built-in projector. So no more fumbling with AV cables to get the camcorder hooked up to a TV, or trying in the early 2010s to get your footage onto a computer that people could see. Now you can just flip a switch, and wherever you're at, just on some flat surface, you can project the video that you just recorded. But what's really interesting to me is if you look at the price of dedicated projectors at that time, they were at cheapest maybe $500, probably closer to $1,000 or even above. But $500 could probably get you like a low-end 720p projector or a standard definition projector. And in today's dollars, I looked it up, $500 would be about a little under $700, and the $399 for this would be about-ish $550. But essentially what that means is this camera is not only a projector, but also a full-on camcorder for less than the cost of a projector. And on the box right here, they're advertising the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil, so that's kind of a cool little date stamp there. You can kind of see some pretty nifty, I don't know, relics of time, I guess, like the fact that it works with iMovie on a Mac, and I'm not sure how or why, but it works with PlayStation 3. So, cool. And some of the other notable features is that it does have 8 gigabytes of internal memory. The camera I'm recording on right here has two 256 gigabyte memory cards. So 500 gigs in this camera, 500 gigs in this camera over here, and 256 gigs in that camera here. So 8 isn't that much, but again, for the time period, that's actually a pretty decent amount of memory, built in especially. Built-in USB cable is something I'm interested in to see if that's a gimmick or a useful thing, and of course, built-in projector. And we're recording over here at full 1080, so we're not doing my typical retro camcorder thing where I grab something from the 90s. That we're in full-on HD over here. So let's see if we can clear things up, if we can find resolution to how this camcorder performs at those resolutions. So like I said, this is a brand new camcorder. It was not listed as brand new, which is super cool. So that was a really awesome surprise. It has all of the instruction manuals, all of the warranty stuff, all of the product and accessory catalogs. And here we go, the camcorder itself. Hopefully things in here are still working. We got lots of cables. So we have, what is this? A micro HDMI to full-size HDMI cable, a USB extension. And here's how you really know this is a relic from the past. It comes with AC power in addition to a battery. Even more expensive cameras now, like my A7 IV, didn't come with a battery charger. So that's a little frustrating. And a little battery. This is an NPFV30. So this is definitely not charged. But of course, here we go. Star of the show. This is incredibly lightweight. Ba-doo. This is a real lightweight camcorder, let me tell you. There we go. That's the whole thing. And right here on the side, there's our projector lens, which is just built into the LCD display. So that means the entire projector is housed here. It's not even in this. Even today, having just a projector this size would be very impressive, but having a projector this size, I'm very curious about how well that actually works. All in all, this is a pretty simple design. We do have a few controls and ports. We have projector focus on the top here. We have some menu navigation buttons, the projector button, the HDMI output here, which means the screen has to be open to use it. And then here we have a DC input and a multi-output. And on the top, we have our zoom rocker and a photo button because the box did say that this can take 8.9 megapixel images. So here's our moment of truth. There is no power switch on here. It's only the LCD. So I think as soon as I open the screen, that's when it turns on. And there is a little slider here to open and close the built-in lens cover, but this seems purely mechanical and not connected to like turning the camera on or anything. So let's see if we open it up. All right, it works. Yay. That's awesome. I have to adjust some settings here. English, please. Okay, it is not January 1st of 2013. Ooh, boy. Yeah, you are waking up in the future, my friend. Oh, there we go. I have an image on the screen. This looks great, honestly. It's always so exciting. What is this little cable? There's a cable. Is this the built-in USB cable? Sorry, I just noticed this on the side here. It is sort of strange that if you have it plugged in with power, you can't really fit your hand here. But look, there is a built-in USB connector. They weren't lying. It's right in the handle. And that's what this extension cable is for. You can connect this here. I gotcha. That's pretty sweet. All right, we are in what looks like auto mode. Is it wide enough for me to do this? All right, let's do it. Let's press record. It makes the exact same record sound as my current cameras do. That's crazy. So here I am, full HD glory. Looks like I'm still recording. I'm in auto, so this is all auto settings. I think there's supposed to be some pretty decent stabilization. I'm gonna flip you around over here, see what we got. Here's my FX3 recording. Here's me on the FX3. Hello. This is definitely looking a little wobbly. Oh, there's that extendo zoom. Where do I look? Okay. That is, that's pretty sweet. This looks great. Like, at least on this screen. The display on here is actually quite nice. And I'm curious how that's gonna look when we play it back. So I wanted to actually use this and not just film like random footage in here. I want to go use it, give it a chance to show me everything that it can do and to learn more about it. But I think we should at least, before all that, because that's going to take some time, we should see how this projector feature works. Here, I'm just going to put my phone here. There. Projector operation method. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my god. Here's something I'm gonna do then. Can you see? You can't see it. I can barely see it. Here, if I turn off my main key light here. In person, this looks better than it does on camera, I think. Let's see what playback looks like or what we can do here. It makes the exact same record sound as my current cameras do. That's crazy. So here I am. Full HD glory. So it actually does work. And now this makes me really want to try it out, learn more about it, and then report back. But through the magic of editing, that won't take any time at all. When I first had the idea to make this video, my intention was to basically just check out this kind of gimmicky feature on an old camcorder because it sort of seemed pretty neat. My expectations were pretty low, but it just sort of seemed like a fun thing to check out. The really cool surprise as I've been using this camcorder and working on this video is how much I genuinely love this camcorder. I did not expect to like it as much as I do. So you went to the old-timey place with the old-timey cam.
Oh, that's true.
Now, there's still definitely a market for professional camcorders. This is a Canon GL2, is not a current camcorder, but things that kind of look like this, they can deliver 4K results, they have great lenses, awesome image quality. There's very much a need and a market for professional camcorders still today. But what there's less of a need for are sort of these home video consumer level camcorders. And there's always kind of been that consumer, prosumer, professional, delineation of camcorders. And it's kind of funny because obviously by the time something gets to the professional level, it needs to be reliable and tested and true. So, if this were your main camera day in and day out for months or years on end, it's probably going to show some wear and tear pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, you get this really awesome high definition video camera with some really cool features. But if you go through something like Sony's Handycam lineup when I was a kid, where you could get Handycams like this, but they had a dozen different models that kind of look like this and were all sort of different and had different features and delineations. And today, as I was browsing the Sony camcorders, consumer camcorders online, I found like one or two that are currently in production. And that's because of this. And if you're watching this video, chances are you have a smartphone that probably not only has HD video, but probably some level of 4K or even potentially higher resolution video with all-day battery life and something that you just have on you all the time. If I put up side-by-side footage, even though I'm quite impressed with the HD footage from this little camcorder and think that it is actually very, very usable, especially in a brightly lit situation, any modern phone is going to give you better image quality, higher resolution, better stabilization, and just sort of be the smarter and more accessible overall option. But something that this little camcorder has taught me is that I kind of think camcorders peaked around this time, which makes sense because that's also the same time that smartphones were getting better and better quality in their cameras. So consumer camcorders are just much less of a demand for. But I kind of think there's something that we lost with that. These little features like this. If you look at, this is just sort of a random smattering of camcorders. You could probably argue that the Canon L1, maybe not a consumer camcorder. I think that there's kind of a two-way street when it comes to camcorders because on the one hand, people want all of the features and image quality of professional level cameras, especially before phones, when these were kind of the only way that normal people could film video. You want it to be as good as possible, but there's also sort of this flip where consumer level camcorders often relied on gimmicks to sort of draw people in, make them seem interesting. And in a way, I think some of those kind of goofy features could sort of trickle up into higher end cameras. And without there really being a market for anything like this anymore, I'm kind of curious about the things that we might have lost in our current cameras. Everything from form factor to features, flip out screens. It was not that long ago that the idea of a flip out screen on a pro level camera was something that, oh no professional camera would have that because you need to run an external monitor and flip out screens are just for consumers. Well, it turns out people really like to have the flexibility of a flip out screen, and now you see them on basically every camera at every price point, even if it is a pro level camera or cinema camera that you're probably going to attach a monitor to or something like that. Look at this camera, the Canon L1. I have a whole video about this camera. This is just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks in terms of what people like to use, how they like to use it, will they use it. You got 2 accessory shoes on here, multiple grips, different ways to use it. Do people want to hold a video camera like a photo camera? Do they want to hold it like a camcorder? You can try both, and then we can kind of keep going from there. So before we go too far into the weeds, let's bring it back to the Projector Camcorder. I'm not necessarily saying that every camera nowadays should have a projector built in, but for how good this feature is implemented and how old this camera is and how inexpensive it was when it was brand new, I can't help but think that this technology in newer cameras could be kind of amazing. Again, I'm just sort of using this as my very niche example, but if you've ever done anything from a personal project to a client project where you film something and then you need to show that footage back to a group of more than one person, it's an absolute pain. What if you just flip open your camera, boom, project it on any flat surface, any ceiling, and people can at least get an idea of what's happening? Obviously, at higher level productions, you're probably attaching monitors and even have wireless monitor setups for people to use. But what if that wasn't always required? What if, for a negligible additional cost, your camera could then have the ability to just project whatever you recorded and let people see and hear it? I mean, doesn't that just sound really fun? Now, I did go back and read some reviews of this camera from when it was new, and a big criticism was that the projector was too low resolution and too dim. Keeping in mind, it's in the LCD of a $400 camera. I think it's absurdly bright for the price and also shockingly good color and clarity. And in fact, let's turn off pretty much all the lights in here. Let's make it real dark. So now I'm just going to use my phone to light me up like a horror movie. But this is sort of a funny problem. I have the projector going on my little white panel back here, which is actually too small for it because it's probably a good, I don't know, 50 inches projected on this back wall, which is, I don't know, a good maybe 8 feet away from me over here. And I can press play on a clip, and especially on the white, it looks great. Like it looks awesome. The room is pitch black, and the parts that are projected on the color of the wall, can you even hear me? The parts that are projected on the color of the wall aren't ideal, but that's pretty awesome. But then I can also just put this right in front of my hand here and just sort of focus it in. And now I've got the video just projected on my hand here. Now it's back over here and I can focus it in. What's crazy here is I don't even need to really worry about keystoning or weird like parallax effects. It's like somehow this projector, there's an airplane, somehow this projector, whenever it focuses on something, it just kind of adapts to it. It's crazy user-friendly, and I truly don't understand how that's possible because I've tried more modern projectors and they are not nearly that easy to get looking decent on a variety of surfaces. Look at that, that's awesome. From a $400 camera. In trying to kind of formulate my point, my whole thesis with even making this video, I really think that kind of touches on it. It's fun. Maybe there are bigger purposes, and these gimmicky features that sometimes showed up in consumer level gear would make their way in more polished iterations into more professional gear. And then that means if we don't have these kinds of things anymore, we're missing out on that stuff in that higher end gear. But all that aside, this is just really fun. And even going into like my wife's office and projecting videos onto her ceiling and stuff, it's just like really, really fun. And I can't help but think that sometimes even when things get objectively better, like the quality of the phone is better than this camera, it's easy to share stuff, it's easy to show people what you record on your phone, it's not nearly as fun. There's nothing as fun about filming on a phone as there is recording and sharing on something like this. And fun is very intangible, and I feel like that's something that we're missing out on, or maybe even something that's been taken away from us as things have continued to get more polished and mature and evolved. It kind of makes sense why a lot of high school kids now are super into point and shoot cameras and old tech from the early 2000s and late 90s, because it's fun. It's not about being the best. It's not about being the most efficient, highest quality. It's about it being really, really fun. And when it comes to anything related to audio video production, I really think whatever level you're doing it at, whether you are a straight up professional working with clients and making your living, or it's something you enjoy spending some of your time on, if you have the ability to have fun with what you're doing and use tools that make it fun for you, it honestly just improves everything, even in a professional setting. And I guess part of me just kind of mourns the loss of goofy things like this that helped make it more fun. But speaking of things that help make things more fun, thank you to everyone who supports my channel and help funds this video by letting me purchase this awesome little camcorder. And if you want to check out a few more other pretty awesome videos, I think they're awesome videos because I worked really hard on them, about other older retro camcorders, I've got a couple of them for you right here.